Welcome back to the LCS, where Dignitas are about to square off versus 100 Thieves. Right now, these two teams are tied for 6th at 5 and 7. And in preparation for this matchup, Dignitas have made themselves a substitution in the jungle.
Yeah, funny that we're just coming off a TSM game, because will Dignitas smurf soon? How swift will their wrath be? I could only think of that in the break during this game. But yeah, Akaadian's coming in, and it has a bit of deja vu from 2019 TSM, where Grig and Akaadian were splitting time. Now, Grig had a better performance earlier in the split. He was injured. Akaadian subs in. Grig returns in summer, and they split time. Grig actually goes 4-0. Akaadian goes 1-3, although Akaadian did look better, so Akaadian's kind of the starter after Rift Rivals happened for the remainder of the summer split. Now, he never actually finished the split with them. They ended up going with a third-party jungler in Spica, but focusing in on 2020, Grig hasn't been looking great. Akaadian has been looking great in Academy, so Dignitas thought, why not give Akaadian the go?
Yeah, maybe this can work towards a greater sense of cohesion for the team, which aphromoo pointed out as a possible point of improvement.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Yeah, pretty much any team we face, I don't care who it is, but the same problem will happen unless we fix it. And I think any team can exploit that and probably, you know, do well. So definitely just got to buckle down and focus on ourselves, because I think our laners are good. We have really good jungle pathing. It all comes down to like how we're fighting, no matter what. And once it goes south, obviously it's like really hard to come back. But once that like cycle happens, it's like we still got to fight, but we're weak at that. So literally we have to just fight, keep fighting, talk about how we're fighting, and just be in the midst of battle. And that's how you learn. I mean, can't learn by just chilling like, oh yeah, blah, 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 should have done this and that. No, man.
Yeah, listening to aphromoo talk about their inability to find fights, I agree with it. And I think they should fight more, but I also think they need to draft for that.
Yeah.
Even just looking at their last game they played against C9, their team composition was Ignite Lucian top, Elise and Anivia, the Cocoon and the Anivia Q were really their only two forms of initiation, and then a Jinx and Tahm Kench. You're not actually able to fight if the other team doesn't want to, so I need Dignitas to take what aphromoo said, apply it to the draft, and then take it in-game.
Right. It's not just, do you want to fight? It's, well, can you, if your opponents are playing defensively, if they're just wanting to play the scaling game?
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things I always personally look for in a draft from both teams. How many actual good engaged tools do you have? When can you say, no, we're fighting over this objective or at this time?
Yeah, exactly. aphromoo can't be having his most played champion be Tahm Kench, right? He's going to need to do, we just came off that TSM game. Zyra Khan was a very effective form of initiation for TSM. If they do want to try and force big fights onto 100 Thieves, let's see it right now.
Into the draft we go. It's Yuumi and Set banned out by Dignitas. Ornn and Rumble banned out by 100 Thieves. Ornn continuing to occupy that permaban spot on red side. Yuumi, another champion that's become more popular recently. Dignitas banning out the Xayah, so they won't be able to have that full lovers duo for either side here. What does 100 Thieves want to go with for the last ban? Still plenty of stuff that you might want to take off the table. Dig does have that ever so important first pick. Senna will be the ban here.
So just trying to get rid of that very popular low CS Senna carry strategy that is paired with melee supports. Easy to drop now, and nothing too crazy about first picking Aphelios. That is Johnsun's most played, 5 games so far of the split.
And the return picks from 100 Thieves are a pretty swift pickup for both of their bottom laners in the Misfortune and the Nautilus. Plenty of kill threat here, just like we talked about last game with MF and Leona. Nautilus also has a ton of CC to lock you down while Misfortune supplies the damage.
Yeah, there's also some weird draft disparities between these two teams in terms of most picked champions and champions that haven't been picked at all. And Nautilus is one of those. It is Stunt's most played support, has not been played by aphromoo, and the Tahm Kench we just talked about is aphromoo's most played support that hasn't been played at all by Stunt. Now the Aatrox also, Captain Flowers, this is actually Huni's first Aatrox game of the split. It was Ssumday's most played at 6, so we do see a denial to what Ssumday has been picking the most often.
That will be picked up for Huni, as you said, that first time. 100 Thieves not going to immediately answer there with a top laner. Instead, they're going to pick up their mid laner. You can see a 75% win rate so far in the LCS. Incredible, actually, stats on that champion here in North American play. Ryoma will be piloting that one coming into this game. Both teams having the bot laners and a single solo laner means junglers are still left to be picked, and I would imagine that pool will be targeted.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see a Gragas ban coming out of Dignitas, as that has been played 6 times by Meteos this split. Obviously, Akaadian's LCS champion pool is going to be different than Grig's champion pool because Grig had not played the Gragas.
Right.
We'll have to see what this phase 2 events here. I would hope for a Gragas ban from Big Rig.
I still need to see engage mechanisms on Dignitas. Aatrox is not a reliable hard engage mechanism. Tahm Kench is not a reliable engage mechanism. You could argue that Aphelios has engage potential as long as he has Gravitum.
He does.
But that's also depending on, hey, do I have the right gun out of the 5? So I'm still not convinced by this Dignitas draft having the tools they need to accomplish the goals we just heard Aphromoo talking about. Solo laner's the focus of these bans here so far in the second half. It's Orianna banned out by 100 Thieves. Dignitas getting rid of that Gangplank. Yep. LeBlanc, the second ban there for Thieves.
Gangplank typically the go-to pick against Aatrox if we're talking about top lane champion pools. Just checked, Akaadian has also not played Gragas, so no one within the Dignitas org has played Gragas on stage this split. Please ban it. It's good engage, it does combo well with everything 100 Thieves wants to do. And 100 Thieves has first choice after second phase of bans.
And you would almost be certain they want to pick their jungler first as opposed to the other solo laner. Well, the Rek'Sai will be banned out instead. The Gragas is up. What's it going to be, 100 Thieves? Plenty of options here. We've seen Meteos play a variety of different champions, and a lot of them are on the table.
So just to devil's advocate myself, the reason you wouldn't ban Gragas there and instead ban Rek'Sai is so that your mid-jungle have a physical magical damage split. In case you wanted to put something more bruisery in the mid lane, you need Syndra to have kill pressure, and you maintain that by splitting your damage between your jungler and your mid lane.
100 Thieves going with a lock on the Renekton in the top lane because they know what the opponent top laner is, so they're not worried about saving that counter pick for last. Instead, they pick that up to go into battle there with the Aatrox. Lee Sin locked in for Akaadian, and the mid lane pick against the Syndra is Zoe here for Froggen. 100 Thieves has now decided to save their very last pick in the draft for their jungler. I'm normally not a very big fan of this because it doesn't afford you the benefits of having that last pick of the entire draft, because often junglers are just going to fall into the same, they'll be strong at level 3 pool anyway. And it looks like Elise is the hover here for now. Trundle instead locked in.
Okay, so a little bit more of front-to-back team fighting being planned by 100 Thieves and a little bit less early game agency. That's not your typical jungler to pick with very CC heavy solo lanes. A lot of times you would actually see something like an Elise paired with Renekton or Syndra for the hard CC combo, but I also think Trundle's very strong. It's something that I've personally been playing a lot of as well, so can't completely fault.
All right, give me the Emperor of Rome treatment here for the Dignitas draft. Their CC, they're engaged. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Which will it be? Is it good enough?
It is more up. So you know how—
You are the Emperor of Rome.
Yeah.
You must choose one or the other.
I'm gonna turn the thumb like 30 degrees up, and then I'm done.
The Coliseum spectators would be so frustrated.
They'd be like, eh?
Do I cheer?
Yeah.
So a slightly upturned thumb for the draft of Dignitas.
They can fish with Zoe Bubbles, they can initiate with Gravitum, and Akaadian on Lee Sin can initiate fights if he's able to get on Misfortune. That's the path forward I see from Dignitas. It's not like a Leona MF, let's go with Sejuani, like bunch of initiation, but it is working up from what they did last week.
And we're in week 7 now. There are 2 weeks left to play after we're done here. And as we already mentioned, these teams are tied for 6th at 5 and 7. 6th is the playoff cutoff. That's how you get in. So you need to get every single one of these wins against these other teams close to you as you can. We can't just say, oh, it's a no big deal game anymore. These really count.
Yeah, and I think tied for 6th could just be 6th and 7th. It's a tie between 6th and 9th. So they're competing with 3 other teams that they are directly tied with that they need to be able to move forward, which does make, to me, just this game even more important.
onto the Rift now. Dignitas and 100 Thieves seeing who's going to come out on top here. All eyes on Akaadian here for Dignitas. Moved into that familiar situation, being subbed in Grig's place. Dignitas thinks that he's the answer, but as we're waiting for the minions to spawn, we've got Ovly standing by on the sidelines with Think Card. Take it away.
I think Flowers basically built up the question right there. Biggest question, Akaadian in this week. What was the thought process behind it?
Yeah, so we think both players have a ton of strengths, but Akaadian brings a little more vocal, a little more communication, and so we think that's really going to help the team a lot because he makes really clear plans.
Great. We saw Johnsun just blew the flash right there. How's he been doing? How's he been growing? We're now 7 weeks in.
Yeah, so Johnsun, I think he's been performing really well for a rookie. I think that if there were other rookies in the league, he would win Rookie of the Split. So I'm really excited to see the type of player he grows up to be.
Thank you so much and best of luck. Back to you guys.
I'd vote for him for Rookie of the Split.
Yeah, he's been good.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, there's not really anybody else to vote for. But even if there was, like Think Card said, I think he still deserves it.
Yeah.
In hypothetical world, but coming back to mid lane here where we are in the game, it's Zoe versus Syndra. We're not going to see any escape potential with Zillion ultis this game, so if Froggen can hit some big bubbles as this game goes on, that could be exactly what Dignitas needs. Remember, this team came out real hot and spicy in the first couple weeks here of Spring Split. There were so many people excited about Dignitas, but then the brakes got hit rather swiftly.
Yeah, I was one of them. They started 3-0. They have been 2-7 since that point. So you can tell that the frustration has definitely been brewing internally. You mentioned we saw just now Thinkar talking about the jungle substitution of, hey, Acadia makes really strong early game plans. And a team that has lost 7 of their last 9, I think it's important that you get someone who has recent experience winning, which is what Akaadian has from Academy, because there is a certain level of like losing games, as we see again coming in mid.
Meteos drops down the pillar, but the disengage from Froggen is there.
Yeah, burning the heal, he needed the extra move speed to get around the pillar. But there is a certain mentality, when you lose several games in a row, you do start playing differently.
You second guess yourself.
You kind of start playing to lose because that's what you've been doing, and you think of all the things that have been going wrong, and you don't want to do that wrong thing again. Whereas someone who's been winning a lot is far more likely to take risks, and they have all these memories in the back of their head of things that have been going well, and they're more likely to do them again. So I can really understand the substitution along those lines, as well as Akaadian also just being a good player.
It's Chad plays versus bad plays. You make a lot of bad plays if you're on a losing streak. You make a lot of Chad plays if you're on a winning streak. And they want Akaadian to come in here and chat it up here for Dignitas in the jungle. As now both junglers have made their way here into the top side. Initiation goes to 100 Thieves. They're first into the battle now. Ssumday's going to be taken very low along with Huni. It's a 1-for-1 so far, and the first blood goes over to Akaadian. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is what they need him for. Sonic Wave could do it. Froggen makes his way into the top side. The Paddle Star just barely whips.
Those would have been some juicy double buffs for Froggen if he could have landed that. But that fight right there is actually a little bit of an example of why you don't often see Trundle paired with Renekton. Because that was the Trundle flash stun into what follow. Like, you walk up and chomp him.
Yeah.
Imagine an Elise that CC chains and one-shots that. It's never a trade kill back. But because the damage doesn't come out so quickly, it does buy time for Akaadian to close the distance. He gets his safeguard shield. Huni gets a few more auto attacks off. And actually, it is Dignitas who get first blood. So, do like that Meteos is playing around his strong solo lanes, but you can see where the Lee Sin is stronger right now.
And that Paddle Star was so close. The Trouble Bubble, not so much. It kind of just went poop. But
Yeah, I think that's a... Meteos did have flash, so it was flashable. Very close call there by Meteos.
Froggen getting a good Paddle Star there onto Ryoma as they both come back here into the mid lane. No teleport on either mid laner this game, worth pointing out. Neither AD carry. So that means only one teleport for each team. It is going to be those top laners. There are no summoner spell books to be pointed out either, so that means no sort of shenanigans later on in the game.
No double smites we have to watch out for.
Yup, we've got no smites, no extra TPs. It's just going to be Ssumday and Huni. So that means, to me, this top lane matchup is even more volatile than it already is because it's that much more dangerous. You can't just say, oh, well, okay, one of our guys got slammed. We'll have somebody else be the split pusher to deal with him in the side lane because he has TP too. These are the only guys with TP once late game rolls around, and they have to be able to stand their ground.
I think that's fair. I think I'm looking forward to seeing how Huni can try and pull ahead of the Renekton. It's obviously the far more popular pick for most people, and that's why you ended up seeing both junglers pathing towards that top side, because they know how high the volatility will be.
Executioner's calling the rush item from Ssumday. Wants to stop the healing from Huni's Aatrox. There's not a lot of other healing on the side of Dignitas, so it's really just strictly for this Aatrox matchup. But shutting down that Grievous Wounds will help to prevent some of that.
Okay.
As Cody's son pops the heal, and Akaadian won't find the Sonic Wave. That means 100 Thieves get their 80 carry out. Drake is also the play here from the Thieves. Akaadian is not nearby to attempt any kind of a steal, and that is Drake secured by Meteos.
I don't think Thieves will take that trade. 80 carry heal for first Drake of the game in 6 minutes.
No reason not to.
Yeah, they had some good pressure from the bottom lane pushed up that allowed Stunt to roam towards the Drake pit, and that is kind of what you do on Trundle. You hit the single target camps early on in the game because he actually has very high single target DPS, so Gromp should be down on respawn, and Dragon and Rift Herald are great objectives for the Trundle to go for. So Meteos tried to make his impact felt early, knowing where he's going to be weak anyway, so his lanes aren't completely losing out on some of their power, and he's still able to secure the first Drake of the game.
Gold still very close between the two teams here. A couple hundred advantage for the side of Dignitas. Remember, they did get a slight edge in that top lane battle because they got the first blood by a single auto attack. So, but when that's pretty much the only advantage your team has, there's not too many things you have to complain about. Could have easily gone either way in that top lane fight. Let's see here how things are playing out with level progression. You can see level 6 acquired for all solo laners and junglers. Bottom laners starting to approach it. Stunt still only level 4 here. And actually, the bottom lane for 100 Thieves pretty significantly behind in experience as they're catching the wave at their turret. Johnsun almost level 6 now as Stunt just now grabs that level 5 on the Nautilus. Meteos coming top here, looking to make a dive potentially happen. But when Ssumday takes the turret aggro too early, that's 2 turret shots now.
Yeah,
but Huni's trying to get away with the World Ender. He's found himself caught out in a spot between the 2 turrets, but he manages to get away. Now Akaadian has showed up to the fight. Meteos no ulti. Ssumday still has his. Huni jumps forward, looking to make this fight go all the way. There comes Akaadian, but Ssumday has turned on the ulti, kicked backwards. The damage goes through. They've got enough CC to keep it in place. Ssumday is almost able to make that outplay. That was, ooh, there was almost some question mark pings there, my friend. That was very close.
Oh my goodness. As this is all happening, the rest of 100 Thieves is trying to push bottom lane as Dig have moved up for this Rift Herald. So it's already 2 plates for 100 Thieves. You're going to need to get a lot more out of this Rift Herald to make that swap worth it, but when we get to that replay, I think that was very close to being the other way.
It's way too close.
Yeah, well, in a couple of different ways, too. But it looks like, watching this one more time, okay, we're only going to see the return kill. To me, I was going to say Ssumday didn't get his slice and dice off. He only got 1 dash and could never make it in stun range. So once the cavalry arrived for Dignitas, it was pretty free. And now they're summoning up this Rift Herald. Looks like they're going to get that whole first turret.
Shelly summoned, turret down. Dignitas up to a 1,500 gold lead with their bottom lane switched up there to the top side. Cody, Sun, and Stunt will be doing everything they can to take down this bottom lane turret of their opponents. As Shelly gets off a second charge here in topside, the Demolish proc going off pretty much guarantees this second turret for Dignitas as well. Shelly has 29 HP. If they protect her from this wave, she might get the 3rd charge off onto that inhibitor turret. As Huni makes his way down there.
29 now.
It's going to be 1 charge. Okay. Okay, I was going to say 29 HP. Ha! He stopped it. Okay.
Yeah.
Ssumday prevented that tragedy at least. But the tragedy that does happen for 100 Thieves, they don't get that bottom lane turret. It's left alive with half a plate's worth of HP.
Yeah, I mean, the Bulwark passives on those turrets, their armored MR gets so ridiculously high when you try and take them all in one go, so no one's really able to do it justice. And yeah, it's a huge injection of gold for Dig right now. The interesting thing will be, where does Huni and Johnsun get their gold now, and how do they extend this lead? Because often, sometimes we'll say, like, you break this turret so early, you still need to maintain this snowball. So let's just watch where Huni goes from here and where Ssumday goes.
Meteos hanging around the mid lane, just walking through the backside as Ryoma pushes up. If Dignitas would have made any sort of a collapse, Meteos would be there for the disengage. waits on Ryoma in the side brush as well, just to guarantee the safety of his mid laner. Stunt is also in the enemy jungle, sitting on a control ward, pops the sweep or two to clear out some of this vision. The wave will continue to be pushed up here by the side of 100 Thieves, as Akaadian clears out his Raptor camp, places a control ward down in his brush. They know that 100 Thieves is in this area, so you can see Akaadian placing that control ward down in the very close brush right next to the Raptor pit. That's kind of what you got to do when your entire half of the map is under pressure.
Yeah.
You got to just eke your way forward, put down vision, and make sure you're not walking into a trap.
Yeah, and 100 Thieves taking full control of that bot side while Ssumday has been pushing up. Notice how while all this is happening, like, Huni has just kind of been chilling in the jungle. So he hasn't gotten any farm while all of this has happened, and if 100 Thieves can win a fight, take the turret, and take the Drake, they can actually make their way back in this game fairly quickly.
3 men bottom for each team. Junglers have made their way down towards the pit, and Ryoma's here too. Puts them in a man advantage for now. 4-3, Froggen making his way down. Meteos has the Drake to about 1,500 HP. Paddlestar comes in. Meteos going to be taken very low here, and it is stolen away by Akaadian. Very nicely done by Dignitas. And now the fight's going to continue to break out. Stunt's taken very low. Akaadian with a flash out, making it away from the bullet time. Ryoma now close to dead. He keeps himself alive ever so barely, but Froggen is still looking for more. Ssumday has the Dominus raging, but he's not finding an opportunity to jump in there onto anyone. Speaking of opportunities, Froggen seizes one and gets 3/4 of Cody's son's health. Cody thinks about backing up there, but seeing Froggen fire a Paddlestar into a nearby bush makes him think twice. And because they won that fight and they got that Drake, Dignitas has control over this bottom part of the map here. Cody still just can't have an opportunity to go home, man. All he wants to do is go home.
Yeah, walk back farther and then start your recall. Cody's son gets an interruption for about 20 seconds. And Captain Flowers, that was such a crucial smite steal by Akaadian. It really was an opportunity for 100 Thieves to make it back into the game. Ssumday had a level advantage up top when the TPs hit. They thought maybe they'd be able to get that Drake and go back in, and got no cleanse.
It's nap time. Ryoma takes some CC.
Just fight.
Damage coming through. How many licks to the center of my Ryoma pop? It's not even 3, my friend. It is that much faster than a children's TV commercial. Turret not taken down just yet. 100 Thieves coming in for the counterattack.
Protect
Froggen
Froggen.
has 100 HP. aphromoo trying to buy the time for his mid laner, more so for his AD carry, because that mid laner is dead to rice. Akaadian's made his way down here now just to prevent any sort of a follow-up dive coming through from 100 Thieves. And that's a nice pick up there for the Thieves, but it does mean Dignitas has the chance to do what they want in other areas of the map. Huni will push up into mid lane. Bottom lane, that turret will finally fall. Honestly, with all the turrets that have been taken so far, it might be surprising to find out it's only 13.5 minutes into the game. The outer turrets still have all the plates attached to them.
Yeah, turret plating not being down, you do a double take. You say, wait a minute, it feels like this game's been broken open for the last 4 minutes. Ryoma, his team is able to punish the collapse down bottom lane a little bit and keep this gold kind of frozen at about 2,000. This is an improvement for Dig over what we saw last week. I'll say that, but it's still winnable by both teams. Like, something about having the Trundle, like especially once aphromoo completes Gargoyle Stoneplate, Meteos is going to be such a monster in these team fights after he ults the resistance stacking Tahm Kench, that I do think 100 Thieves is still in this.
Yeah, the meatballs for both teams are the supports. There's only one big target that'll have all those resistances to sap. As you mentioned, it's Aphromoo's Tahm Kench, and it's when the Gargoyle Stoneplate is active.
Yeah.
And similar to Sejuani, once the thing then becomes unactive, you're all of a sudden losing stats and health drain that is not proportional to how strong you currently are. It's way stronger than what it was.
Yeah, and some big poke coming in from Frog and Zoe in mid lane as well.
Ooh, and he lands that one too, right on the butt.
He's got the Luden's power spike on Ryoma right now, so a big mid lane difference at the moment.
9 turret plates to 8. Both teams getting so much value out of these early game plates. Shelly is up here for the second time. Dignitas has Johnsun helping Akaadian out to take that one down. Considering he's got all those chakrams stacking with Crescendum, makes it pretty easy to put out a ton of DPS.
Yeah, that's the best objective combo, in my opinion, because you can stack up your chakrams so quickly by using the the red gun ability.
The red gun ability.
Yeah, I call it either Healy gun or red gun.
Hey, but the important part is I always know exactly what you mean.
Exactly.
It's
about clarity.
Yeah, the clarity. Your mind's eye can
Yeah.
visualize exactly which gun you're talking
Flamethrower. Obviously, it's the blue gun.
about. Yep, sniper rifle
Sniper's
is the green one.
Sure, but it's the only green one, so it's the sniper rifle. Did I get them all? Gravitum? Gravitum is just self-explanatory.
Yeah.
It's the CC gun.
Yeah, the CC gun. There you go. See, they all have their own phrase.
Next Drake coming up in 50 seconds, and it is 100 Thieves who has a little bit better setup. Notice how Ssumday has gotten so much more CS than Huni, in part because Ssumday's the one with the dead turrets. So yes, it's good to have that early injection in gold, but there's also two sides to that coin, as it's going to be a level 11 ulted Renekton able to participate in this next fight if he walks down.
Sleep onto Meteos, half his health. Nice damage as Akaadian jumps over the wall to escape the engage from Stunt, and Stunt now finds himself far too far forward. Stasis will buy him a couple of moments here, but the damage continues to go out. There comes your long-range auto attack from Johnsun, followed up by the damage from Froggen to take him down. 5v4 on the map here for Dignitas. Drake spawning in 5 seconds. Stunt not alive for another 10. Mid lane turret is the target. Shelly is summoned up. One headbutt from her should be enough to take this one down. There she goes. There it goes. Turret destroyed. Johnsun getting the kill credit. Dignitas want to push Shelly up here into tier 2, get off the second charge before they make their way over to the Drake.
Dig might break open the game here. That was a really haphazard move into the area by 100 Thieves, where Meteos gets chunked low and then Stunt just face plants into a wall before dying. So really rough series of events there by 100 Thieves. Make Dig's second Drake of the game easy to secure.
Dignitas picking up that first Cloud Drake. Ultimate CDs lowered, as it appears we have wandered into the Zillion dimension from last game. I'm not sure particularly what that is, but
Yep.
hey, let's just enjoy this beautiful painting that has been presented in front of us.
I mean, there's a GLP completed now.
Yeah.
As we can see on the screen.
We got some happy little minions here in the mid lane. No mistakes, just happy accidents here at the
just
LCS.
happy accidents.
Yeah.
You get to really take in the state of the game.
And the state of the stage. See, look at Dignitas. They got themselves 2,000 gold. They all look calm, cool, and relaxed. They got their water bottles, their hand warmers, everything you need to be a successful League of Legends player.
Yeah, if this pause goes on long enough, the teams will be allowed to talk to each other. But as of now, they're going through normal pause protocol where they're just waiting to see exactly what is up. And it was a position in the game, Captain Flowers, where Dignitas did look to be getting the upper hand over 100 Thieves. We saw from 100 Thieves' early laning phase of the Renekton and the Syndra that they were going to be looking to get rather aggressive early, but that was repelled by Dignitas, and then they were actually forcing a few fights. The Zoe really is the one creating these picks to allow them to then go in further and fight.
Yeah, Froggen's making things happen with this champion, and Stunt was just... You could see what the plan was. Fire off the dredge line, try to punish Akaadian as they jumped forward. But the problem with Nautilus, it's not like Thresh or Blitzcrank where when you miss the hook, oh yeah, oh darn, we missed the hook. It's, okay, now I'm right where I don't want to be.
Yeah.
And that's real easy to make them regret it.
It would be great to go through that fight again as well before that next Drake comes up. But overall, as we mentioned before, this is a very big game for both 100 Thieves and Dignitas.
Yeah.
5 and 7, 4-way tie for 6th. Both of these teams with definite playoff aspirations. I mean, you look at the way 100 Thieves started the split. They started off hot, went on a bit of a losing streak, a 4-game slide at one point. And then Dignitas started 3-0 and then have been 2-7 in their last 9. So a win here right after subbing in a new jungler, if you're looking at Dignitas' side, could be a big move up for them.
Right. You're looking at the standings right now. You've got Cloud9 that have literally already secured themselves a playoff spot. Not just talking about, oh, they're playing really well. It's mathematically, they're in the playoffs. That spot is already taken. TSM, FlyQuest are the ones separating themselves away from that soup. So if you are guessing that they're going to continue to do that well and get into the playoffs too, well, then you've got Immortals and Team Liquid. A lot of people are expecting Team Liquid to continue to play better now that they're on fire. So
I mean, that's going to be the next...
Just for meme's sake, let's put TL in at number 4. And then that means you've got 2 spots left between Immortals, Thieves, Dig, Golden Guardians, and Evil Geniuses. We're not going to put CLG in there. But that's 2 spots for 5 teams. That means under half the teams get to go through.
taking a look at this fight one more time, you saw the poke from Meteos. This is a little bit before the pause. Meteos gets chunked out, but then off of the Ryoma stun, Stunt thinks, hey, let's kill. Meanwhile, Cody was never in a place to follow up, and Meteos had just been pushed out of the fight. So definitely a mistake by Stunt. And then what ends up happening after he dies to the Zoe Q, after Cody Stun heals him, that allows Dig to use the Rift to break about a turn and a half, and then Stunt's death timer is long enough that they can then take both things off of that. But to get back to your standings point, after today, we're going to have like 5 games left for each team.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know, there are new playoff format changes for 2020. It's no longer the top 2 teams getting a bye. It's the top 4 teams essentially getting a double elimination bracket and the bottom 2 teams starting in the losers bracket.
Yeah, single elimination.
Single elimination, yeah. So 1 will be able to pick between 3 and 4. 2 will play the other team. The losers of those games will then play 5 and 6. So yes, it's very important for these teams, but like if you're Dig, like looking at those standings, you got Immortals currently in 4th place at 6 and 6. You're 1 game behind that. Like the difference between 4th and 5th, let alone playoffs, is like mega important.
Absolutely.
When I'm looking at the way this new playoff structure works. So obviously a loss can mean these teams don't even go to playoffs, but top 4 is in reach for either of these teams.
That was the biggest separator in the previous systems, was between top 2 and then the bottom 4, because of the fact that you got the bye immediately into the semifinal stage. Now it's the difference between top 4 and bottom 2, because bottom 2 essentially gets a bye into the losers bracket, which is the opposite of the bye that you want.
Yeah, it's kind of a bye.
It's
just assuming you lose your first matchup. You just don't have to lose. You don't have to go through that
it's a negative bye.
Yeah.
So considering that's what it is for those 5th and 6th place teams, you really don't want to be there. And when, like you say, it's as close as it is with current number 4 sitting at 6 and 6, 1 win could be the difference between being 4th or being 5th. And having that second opportunity to play for a playoff spot and go on that trip to the finals or not.
Yeah, and for the people watching right now, apologies, there was a pause. We're still waiting on updates about what the resolution of this is. If you've been watching all day, C9 lost their first game to TSM.
If you haven't, spoilers.
Yeah, well, okay. Whoops. And also, the other thing I'm really looking forward to today, beside the resolution of this game and who can break the tie in 6, is like, how good is TL going to look? Because like so many of these teams today have made a roster change that we're trying to see the fruits
4
of.
different teams.
Yeah, like Akaadian already coming in with a sweet Dragon Steel. We'll see how Tactical ends up doing when he goes in. We're going to see COG's new 80 carry in that game as well against Team Liquid. So there's a lot of dynamic stuff happening here in Week 7.
All right, as we continue to investigate what's going on with the game, we'll give you guys some details as soon as we can. But for now, we are going to toss things back to the desk as they will continue to guide you on this trip through the break. Take it away, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Captain Flowers. Exactly as he said, League Ops is investigating the technical issues taking place on stage now. We'll keep you apprised and updated as we learn more information to get this game rolling again. But gives us an interesting opportunity to talk about the game as it is in a paused state. And I want to roll it all the way back to draft. In particular, I want to take a look at Dignitas, because one of our criticisms of one of the defining characteristics of Dignitas this split has been hot and cold. And I kind of want to identify what they think is their remedy to finding consistency.
That's a hard question.
Was that a hard question?
That's a hard question.
You weren't expecting that, huh?
Yeah.
I think it's a hard question because they're not doing anything crazy in draft.
Yeah.
Like you first pick Aphelios because it's up. Okay, you pair it with TK to defend it. Zoe's one of the most powerful picks in the meta. Great, Akaadian's best champ is Lee Sin probably. So like it does feel like comfort is their solution to avoiding these hot and cold moments.
Okay, I will say it is a lot different than the Ignite Lucian top.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Okay, so
That
this
was
is a
the
bit
Ignite
back.
game.
Yeah, so this is that's true. So this is a bit back to there's a lot of like consistent picks here, and the composition as a whole feels like pretty normal. There's nothing too crazy, and especially on blue side they picked the Aatrox early, so there's not a fear of top lanes getting banned like we saw in the C9 game, and they picked one that's like pretty stable and doesn't have many counter picks left.
Yeah, I mean, these champions right here are some of the most picked in every single role. And they're taking diversion. A lot of people had criticisms before from like the First Pick Elise, right? With multiple AP solo laners and stuff like that. They're trying to avoid these types of problems. I think the bigger thing is jumping into the game and how Akaadian actually has played around their objectives.
Right, and Topside is where all the action took place. So Huni versus Ssumday, but how the remaining members of the team would come and affect that matchup. So I want to dive in to a couple replays here in the top lane to see how it broke down, because Dignitas will find their opening eventually with that Rift Herald push through the top lane, but it took some work to get there.
And this one, we start out, Akaadian had just finished up the Scuttle Crab, clearing from bottom up to this top side. Let's take another look at it as we get Zilean, honestly, has like disrupted this entire timeline, I believe, today. Get a little rewind here because you can see him go for it again. Huni flashes away, but he knows that Akaadian is right on the way. Lee Sin is one of the best, by the way, for proximity counter ganks here because of the safeguard in immediate focus down there onto the Aatrox. They actually cash in on first kill there, so they get the bonus gold for that first blood and the chase down. And then with the continued focus, once again, Akaadian comes over second as Huni buys time by running away. And Lee Sin is so much better at turning this around because level 6 on Lee Sin, playmaking with your Dragon Rage rather than just the Shred ultimate there for Trundle, not going to help him out in the duel.
This is where I want to come to you, Mark, because I want to recall to your segment done on FLICKR at the top of the day around his play on Aatrox in a losing matchup. Here, Huni was under a lot of pressure. How did you feel about the way he has dealt so far, or in the early game with the pressure that was sent towards him?
I think one of the things we talked about was not necessarily playing with your jungler at the top of the day segment, where Blabber was actually playing a bot side to swap out of situations. This time they did play around it a little bit more, but it wasn't Grig camping. He was doing other things. And
Akaadian.
I'm going to make this mistake.
Totally understandable mistake, because up till today it was Grig.
But to Kobe's point, it's not like Akaadian is sitting in a brush waiting for the pressure to come. He's doing things on the top side so he can react. Which I think is still a pretty good use of the jungler's time, because what you don't want is like, I feel pressured by the Renekton and Trundle, sit up here. And that's not what's happening.
Exactly. Jungle is an efficiency-based role with your time. Every second you should be killing something or gaining some sort of objective for your team. You know, warding and stuff like that is all included. So he's trying to remain on the side where they know they're going to need defense while still gaining gold from clearing from the bottom side up towards the top side. But Huni deserves a lot of credit for buying that time. Because so many times, your jungler is at your Gromp or at the Scuttle Crab and your top laner dies. We all know that feeling from solo queue. You're like, I'm on the way.
I needed 5 more seconds to get there.
And Huni buys those 5 seconds in both these critical cases.
And I got to shout out Froggen, too. You saw him collapsing on both those plays that were happening on the top side. He didn't get a kill in either of them, sadly, but he's making the right plays now, leaving his lane to collapse on these top side fights, like we've seen Niski doing. And so it was a good look out of Froggen, even if it did hurt him a little bit in the short term. He could have landed that bubble on the initial one and had to kill himself.
Should have seen how happy probably was.
I was so excited.
He turned around and he exclaimed, "Did you see that?
He left.
Froggen just left lane. Not only did he leave lane, he left an entire wave.
Yeah,
this is
not flame. This is just this style of movement, not just Froggen specific, just mid laners in general.
Yeah.
If you see that 7 CS just like walking in, you're like, I'm gonna go leave for this chance to get a kill. That's a hard choice to make.
It's a really hard choice.
You have something guaranteed, you got all that juicy numbers right in front of you, and he chose not to take it. I was like, many mid laners.
I know Kobe's a proponent of picking up the free gold on the map off the minions, so I imagine it's a tough decision to choose to leave your lane and go affect somewhere else.
Exactly. I thought it was really funny because in the instance that it happened, it actually ended up Froggen paid the price. He didn't get the kill and he lost the minions.
Right.
So you're like, yes, there is always this price you're paying for the roams and stuff.
Right.
And it doesn't always cash out in the end. In that instance, he paid the price, but that's
a good position to put yourself in, because that's hard to get in that mentality, like, I can take this chance. Because what happened was he missed a skill shot. If he landed that in top lane, he would have gotten all that gold back and been like, I'll do this forever. So I really hope when they rewatch this game, he takes that apart and being like, okay, next time I do this roam, it is the right play. If I actually land this skill shot, it's like super worth it.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's not like he's out of the game. He caught right back up in CS overtime and is up 2 kills now against his opponent. So he's still doing really well on top of being able to roam and influence the map.
Results-based analysis. I like
I'm
it.
saying.
I do have a quick update as a result of network issues on stage. League officials have initiated a chrono break, and players will connect back to the game at 17 minutes and 10 seconds, shortly after the Dragon was taken. We'll return to the game as soon as the players are reconnected. And so now I kind of want to talk about games, less so game state, but where we go from here and the importance of this match. It should be reiterated that these two teams are tied in the standings at 5 and 7. in that big four-way tie for 6th. So separation here between teams and those that are even with you in the standings is all that much more important. So for both of these squads really trying to put up a victory, Dignitas in the driver's seat, it seems, at the moment.
Yeah, and I think they're looking pretty good to me right now. I like what I've seen around the Drakes and Froggen's ability to land poke and set stuff up for his team. And that's something that they can then easily, like, you just keep applying that same game plan to later in the game where you start playing around Barons and stuff like that. And this is where I'm curious about how Akaadian does start factoring into the team around objective setups.
Well, hopefully we'll have some answers soon. I'm hearing word that the players are ready, so we're going to toss it back to the casters to get ourselves right back into this one.
I love Chrono Break technology.
I was just thinking the same thing, because I remember a time before Chrono Break.
When a game like this would be...
You'd be 22 minutes in, you'd have a tech issue, and you'd be like, I guess we should just start again from scratch.
Yep.
And then you would do it.
Redo it.
You'd redo picks and bans, it'll be all over again.
Run it back.
Yeah, I think the original, it ended up sticking as Chrono Break, but the first time we did it, they called it the deterministic
disaster recovery tool?
Something like that.
Yeah.
There's one other word.
Deterministic disaster recovery. The DDRT, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought it sounded like one of those Dance games.
Yeah, because it actually just really quickly replays all the game that had happened up until that point, and then you restart. But thank goodness we were back in with this 2,000 gold lead by Dignitas to see how it plays out.
I had no idea what deterministic data recovery meant. It was designed by people much smarter than me,
Yeah.
who made me very thankful that my job is to talk, because I could not use my brain in that way. But now, let's see if Dignitas can use their brains in a way that will allow them to take this 2,500 gold lead and snowball it into a late-game victory. We are only 18 minutes into the game. Things have been progressing rather quickly. It's 4 turrets to 2 already at 18 minutes. 3 Drakes have been taken, 2-1 there for Dignitas over 100 Thieves. They command a 5 versus 2 kill lead and are up almost 3,000 gold. Remember, the second Herald was used there in the mid lane. The mid lane turret tier 1 was taken down. Tier 2 did take a hit, and that 3rd Drake was secured by Dignitas. This 100 Thieves will find Huni trying to back. He pops the World Ender. He sidesteps away from the dredge line, has to flash over the Trundle pillar. 100 Thieves will get that summoner spell out of the Dignitas top laner.
Yeah, and trade Aatrox for Trundle ultimates. Trying to get a little bit of pressure going on in the map. 100 Thieves has had so much control over the bottom side of the map for very little reward. That Drake steal by Akaadian is actually pretty critical, as I think getting the Dragon Soul would have been one of their more important win conditions. You could argue about how strong a Cloud Soul really is, but on champions with frequently used ultimates like Zoe, it can end up actually being very good.
Aatrox also can move around much more quickly after popping his ulti that is normally going to give him a huge burst of movement speed anyway. Johnsun, although he stops to fire it for about half a second, can then move very quickly afterwards. It can help him kite better afterwards. Aphromoo, I guess it's kind of a meme one because he starts to cast it and then just sits there with his tongue hanging out for 5 seconds if he's waiting for somebody to jump in his belly. But I actually think that Cloud Soul is very interesting in that regard because all the other ones are generally just useful for what they do. Like, every champion is happy to have a shield, is happy to have regeneration, is happy to have bonus damage.
Yep.
But Cloud Soul is just so different. Some champions love it, and others would just as quickly trade it for a health potion.
Yeah, the universal thing that I think is often undervalued is the 10% move speed.
Yeah.
That's just a huge amount of move speed, and for champions like the Tahm Kench, just being able to walk at people. Like, it changes that entire dynamic of them being able to walk away from you, and Tahm Kench can just go up and eat them.
That's, I'm talking about the active part, by the way.
For sure,
So,
for sure.
Before anybody thinks that I think a health potion is worth 10% movement speed. No, just the active part, because I immediately think of champions like Jhin, who roots himself for his ultimate, and then, well,
and you're like, what are you doing?
You're not going to get a lot of movement speed out of that one, but we'll see who, if anyone, is able to get it today, because since we do already have a 2-1 score, that means it will take at least 2 more Drakes before that soul comes online. 90 seconds before Dignitas or 100 Thieves could make the play for that next one. Baron is up now, but 20 minutes into the game, neither team would be able to do it exceptionally quickly. 100 Thieves trying to defend that mid lane tier 2. Dignitas want the push. They already have it down to about a 3rd HP because of what Shelly was able to do earlier. They have control over this bottom side 100 Thieves jungle. They're stealing away the blue buff. Give that to Froggen and make it so the poke will be endless for this Drake fight.
Yeah, just spam, spam, spam as the Zoe really close to chunking Ryoma out of that lane entirely. Watch the pressure of the waves and what ends up happening with these trades. There's a chance here that Hunter Thieves actually just trades Baron Vision for this third possible Drake for Dig and then opts to fight over the Soul, because like just looking at overall like where the Hunter Thieves members are is like they're all taking control of this part of the map, which will leave this part of the map completely free for Dignitas to take.
And before we had the break, you were talking about how Froggen's making things happen with this Zoe and finding picks with the trouble bubbles. The mid-game build is pretty much exactly where you'd want to see it right now with the double pen items plus Luden's Echo. When you look at the magic resist on the enemy team, Syndra, Misfortune, and Renekton all have 0. There are no MR items on those champions at all. Meteos specifically bought a Negatron Cloak because of the Zoe. And of course you have Gargoyle Stoneplate on the Nautilus, but when 3 out of 5 can lose 80% of their health bar in one EQ combo, that's really good for Dignitas and very promising around objectives like this, where they would force their opponents to check into it. And that's going to be third Drake going over to Dig as they find themselves at Soul Point.
And now Hunter Thieves is, because they had control of the other side of the map and didn't invest time in Drake, they're trying to get this mid lane turret down. But I think Dig is going to rotate just in time, yeah.
Dig's there in time, turret protected. 100 Thieves do have 3 turrets down, though. Both teams have lost both the Tier 1 and Tier 2 topside turrets. So if there ever are any fights around this Baron, there's not going to be anywhere nearby to run to for safety should a team find themselves on the losing end of it.
Yeah, Infinity Edge needs to come through for Cody's son as well. He did get solo turret gold off in the top lane, even though it was the second tier top turret that he took. So once he has that, maybe Hunter Thieves will be more willing to opt in. And I actually like what Hunter Thieves just did there. Even though, sure, they gave away a Cloud Drake uncontested, I compare it to a game they played against Immortals earlier on in the year where they had like a small deficit, but kept like over-contesting objectives and just losing fights straight up to like Soaz's Cho'Gath. You may as well pick your battles. And that's what I think Hunter Thieves is doing better here as they go on Huni.
Picked the battle onto the enemy top laner here yet again. Huni trying to get out of this one. Flashes over the wall.
Oh!
Another dash over the second wall. And
Death's
Huni
Dance?
escapes. The Death's Dance bleed will not be enough to bring him down. And because he can avoid that attention from 100 Thieves, avoid giving away that kill, this is a chance for Dig to do something elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a bit of a heartbreaker for Hunter Thieves, investing that much to not even kill Huni's Aatrox. Luckily for them, like, Dignitas doesn't have that much confidence attempting a 24-minute Baron, although I think it would have been possible to do that since the only defenders were Syndra, Misfortune. Either way, they should get a lot of vision. They don't have it, though. They need to get more control wards, I think. They want to get the correct setup there.
Huni's right back to farming in the bottom lane, making sure he holds that one solid. Remember what we discussed earlier. It's only the top laners who have teleports this game. Those are going to be the 2 that you see eternally on the opposite side of the map as the objective, ready to push that side lane out, maintain control before they TP into the fight. Both of those teleports currently available for use. You already mentioned Huni has the Death Dance. His second major item is completed. Ssumday does not have a full second item done yet. Having to stop off for the Executioners early on did slow down his build path.
Yep.
So you can see the Sterix gauge still just a Jarum's Fist at this point in time. 100 Thieves would love to have him complete that item before the second team fight rolls around. Looking in the inventory of Meteos, you can see a Gargoyle Stone Plate being worked on for him. That item just absolutely incredible.
Round 2.
At making somebody tanky. As Huni tries to get away here yet again. Flash coming out from Ssumday. They know Huni does not have his own flash available. They want to commit everything in the kitchen sink. And that is a kill for 100 Thieves. But in the meantime, here's what you talked about earlier. Can Dignitas take this chance and force the Baron?
So Cody can bullet time. I think he should do it soon.
He throws down the Make It Rain at first. Baron is down to 2,000 HP. This one could turn into a real close one. Kick out of the pit coming through from Akaadian. Ssumday's going into the pit now. A lot of damage going through, and Akaadian is taken out. This Baron is anybody. It's a melee, and it's stolen by 100 Thieves. A critical error from Dignitas.
You take the fights where you can get them, Captain Flowers, and that fight fell right into 100 Thieves' laps. They send 2 to Huni, not 3, and then they try and hard force the Baron anyway. But they
Dig Baron. Damn it.
I wasn't gonna say it.
I'm going
I was
to
gonna
because
have the
year after year,
self-control not to say it this time, Captain Flowers. Made me.
year after year, time after time, some things you just can't get rid of. Some identities you can't break, and this is one of them.
Okay, so 100 Thieves take their time here. You think Aphelios can kill it very quickly, but Johnsun gets caught in the bullet time, so he has to stop Yes, and then, while yes, Akaadian did kick out Ssumday, the Baron's not in execute range yet. He tries to go back in, because at this point, they're like too low to fight, but then he dies, and then the Zoe tries, because there's no jungler here anymore, actually.
15 HP.
No one had smite at the end, so it's literally just who's pressing their ability on Baron at the right time. Then Meteos does finally arrive to clean it up. A full ace, a Baron. And this is one of the reasons I like Ton of Thieves not forcing Cloud Drake, because like you can find a better fight than walking aimlessly into a team with the big gold lead on you, and that's what they were able to do.
Today is a day of wacky Barons. In the Fnatic versus G2 game in the LEC, a Baron got coin flip Baron got down to 15 HP, or down to 13. This one got down to 15. That's 2 sub 20 HP Barons in one day. That is just way too much as the gold difference falls off a steep cliff into a red ocean, and 100 Thieves are happy to go swimming all night long in that one. The Cloud Drake secured. Meteos makes sure that the Dignitas boys are not going to find that Cloud Soul here just yet. And now, let's see what 100 Thieves can do with the Baron power play. They've already got all 6 of the inner and outer turrets down. It's inhibitor turrets or bust, and it's up to Dignitas to hold that line.
And they're going for Ssumday. This is like jungler plus top lane duel.
Gator skin boots. Ssumday, he's into the Dominus. He's trying to stay alive. They're smacking him around a little bit. Akaadian's like, no, I should probably come back and help you finish this off, and shut down credit there. But in the meantime, what's this? Knock, 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 knock. It's 100 Thieves at the front door, and they're just beating that sucker in. aphromoo, he's down. The only man to fall in this fight for Dignitas, but that's all they needed. They've got the man advantage because their opponents had a couple of people in the top side. Inhibitor number 1 is gone, and now 100 Thieves still have the opportunity to push for more here in bottom lane. Meteos on the front line. The root lands onto Cody's son, but 100 Thieves are able to stay alive for now. Huni's made his TP into the back part of the fight. This could be the turn they're looking for. Huni chasing after Meteos. All of 100 Thieves in a full retreat. Ssumday is still not alive, still dead for another 10 seconds. Johnsun grabs the first kill, and Huni continues marching forward. Stasis to keep himself safe from any sort of a counterattack. Froggen tries to jump forward himself to grab a little bit more damage, but Ryoma will sidestep. Akaadian makes his way into the back line and finds the kill onto Cody's son. Meteos will be the next target. Sonic Wave, resonating strike. He's down, and they give the remaining kill over to Huni. Dig giveth, and Dig taketh, and Dig taketh the life from everybody on 100 Thieves.
Yeah, trying to turn that into like the Dignitas Trench, the gold graph. It'll dip down for a little bit, and then it'll come right back up. Akaadian played this fight great. Watch this. So, first he lands his Q, he goes in. The instant they go to CC lock him, stopwatch. Eats the whole Orianna ultimate up as the flamethrower ultimate comes in from Johnsun. And then Huni chases just hard enough before using the stopwatch of his own. There were 2 great stopwatches from Dig here. The Akaadian one we just saw, and then it's going to come up in just a second from Huni. Right there, where Cody's son would have been able to continue auto-attacking to kill him. And then watch how Akaadian plays the rest of this fight. He knows he has ultimate. Taking this and delaying his kill would mean he actually just dies to Cody and Meteos, pops back out so Ryoma won't kill him. Able to just stop and BM just a little bit on that Ryoma Q at the end.
Chad plays, I told you.
Now he's in their heads. The next Drake is coming up. The gold is recovered. Cloud Soul on the way. We got ourselves a game, Captain Flowers.
Look at that damage dealt in the last fight. The 0 on Renekton doesn't matter. He was dead for the whole time. He was literally never there. aphromoo, he was also dead for the whole time, so he's not there. But 3,200 from Huni's Aatrox, getting revenge for being picked in the top lane beforehand. The game separated by less than 2,000 gold. The Thieves not willing to stop that push. A demolished proc will take that turret out. Can Dignitas find a chance to punish for this? It doesn't appear so. Huni getting himself back out onto the map, grouping up with the rest of the team. Remember, if Dignitas can get this next Drake, that is Soul for them. 100 Thieves, if they take it, will bring themselves to Soul Point as well and guarantee that the 7th Drake is the final one of the game.
Yeah, and there's a chance that Dig just has superior team fighting with Johnsun's items now on Aphelios, so 100 Thieves might just start trying to split the map. They're thinking about trying to backdoor this inhibitor, and that's kind of what Ssumday has left. Like, I haven't seen very many effective teamfight Renektons since Spear of Sojourn removal, so he's definitely fallen off a lot in power as this game progresses, and yeah, it looks like 100 Thieves are going to try and play a game of sleuthery.
Here comes the brush cheese. Huni's found himself in a 1 versus 2, but he decides to turn it back around onto Cody's son, who has to flash away. Now the Guardian Angel's going to buy some time here for Huni. He comes back alive, and Ssumday is now trying to work together with Stunt in a 2v2 against 2 members of Dignitas. Froggen down to half HP. Cody Stun's going on the toward to base through the enemy lines. Huni still chasing after him. Cody has no flash. Remember, he's already used it before. Bullet time, point blank range. Don't bring a gun to it.
Oh, we like that!
As the bubble finds its way down onto Ssumday. 100 Thieves now continuing to try to disengage. It's a 1 for 0 so far, despite the fact that this has had some absolute just Benny Hill music for the last 45 seconds.
All right.
100 Thieves disengage, and control over the middle part of the map belongs to Dignitas, the Drake spawning in 5 seconds.
Let's take stock. You can try this Baron. That hasn't worked well in the past. You can go to Cloud Drake. That's Soul. That's easier. That's less threatening. Dignitas want it all. They're going back. You got to have a short memory. You miss all the Barons. You don't try. They're going again.
Let's go for it. Michael Scott would be proud of that one, Chad. Here we go. Baron at 50% HP. 100 Thieves moving in. They want to steal it here again. Akaadian goes for a kick. He manages to get Ryoma in the waiting arms of Dignitas. He's rooted up and taken down. And Akaadian is the man responsible. Stunt will try to Spider-Man his way away, but heroes die. And Akaadian grabs the double kill.
Like the Dignitas peeled off that time. Gets the beautiful kick on Ryoma. Not only do they kill him, they burn both of his summoner spells. And now they're considering what to do. We got 2 people on Cloud Drake, but if they overcommit to Cloud Drake, 100 Thieves can take the Baron. Dig doesn't have vision of the Baron. That's why Huni's going in to get it.
Huni making sure that 100 Thieves isn't up to anything tricky.
This is good.
As Dignitas grab themselves the Cloud Soul. Critically, they take that objective that will give them that nice movement speed advantage, that extra utility in the upcoming team fights. aphromoo bringing in the cavalry here with the Abyssal Voyage. Meteos is now drowsy. If you kill the jungler, it means a lot. But if you don't kill him, that's just ultis used there. World Ender down for Huni. Meteos is at about 50% HP. Gargoyle Stoneplate ready to go for him here in a few seconds, but the active not ready yet. Actually, everybody's Gargoyle Stoneplates were all used at the same time by both supports and Meteos in the last fight. So all of those will be up at the same time, as 100 Thieves will push up the mid lane here. Dignitas trying to regroup in the mid lane to make a good defensive posturing.
Yeah, 1 pick from Zoe or 1 good stun by Ryoma's Syndra could have game-deciding impact.
Well, there's your potential pick from Zoe.
He's got no flash, but he's honky.
He loses a little bit of health there, but the Gargoyle Stoneplate keeps him alive. There comes your bullet time to prevent Dignitas from coming in to help Huni out. He loses a lot of his HP. Aatrox will be able to heal up pretty effectively with the Death's Dance.
And in terms of ultimates used, that's a lot from 100 Thieves. The only one to maintain is Meteos' Trundle. It only took the Aatrox ultimate, and that comes back really fast with the 30% CDR he's accrued, as well as being level 17.
100 Thieves still have the priority over the map for now. They're down 3,000 gold. They're down a Drake Soul. And it is going to be Dignitas who's first back out onto the Rift to make a move. They'll take control of the mid lane. Cody using the opportunity to push out the top side, as Dignitas will once again head towards the direction of the Baron. Ssumday eats a little bit of damage there, but honestly, just a GLP active won't do a whole lot to a Renekton that's at the spot that he's at.
And while we have a moment, I got to give a shout out to Acadia. The first LCS game of the 2020 Spring Split. 6-1-3 on Lee Sin. Some amazing team fights. Need to see if they can close it out, or if 100 Thieves can pull off another comeback. They've already came back once with the first Baron.
Meteos on the flank. Dignitas staying together as a group, but here he goes. The pillar is down. The damage comes out. The bullet time goes through. aphromoo is the target. A TP's coming in right there into the middle now, but Huni's nearly going to be killed himself. Akaadian having to disengage this one, but Stunt has grabbed the kill. Johnsun is not where you want to see an AD carry be. And 100 Thieves have taken down 2. Froggen could be caught out here. Spit out by aphromoo, kept alive, but Ssumday's on the chase. The Dominus will continue to provide the AoE damage. The stopwatch keeps him safe. Froggen's buying a little bit of time with a stasis of his own, but Ssumday grabs the kill. 100 Thieves are here in the mid lane, 5 versus 2. It's Akaadian and aphromoo versus the world. Akaadian will grab the kill onto the enemy mid laner. They want to try to break this wave if they can, but all the Thieves have to do is protect the minions. They're on to the Nexus. It's only aphromoo. A Tahm Kench won't do it, and 100 Thieves will take the win.
Well, they broke the tie for 6th.
Yes, they did.
What a game that was, where Dignitas looked to be in control basically the whole time. The Baron is thrown away by Dig in the mid game, but then they actually find an ace towards the end, and 100 Thieves just get a fight in the mid lane before pushing to the victory. That is a crushing defeat for Dignitas, and that's a type of win. While 100 Thieves, like they'll say, we take those, that's one of those things that you're never gonna be 100% happy with.
No, because there was so many errors on both sides. The Dig Baron, just time and time again. What is it with this team and this objective, Jet?
Well, there's definitely some confirmation bias, and I also don't know.
Well, either way, as we said at the beginning, every win counts when you're in this tie for 6th place, trying to work towards those playoffs, trying to specifically work towards 4th in those playoffs.
Yeah.
So 100 Thieves, even if it was a bit of a journey getting there, the road got a little rocky, the journey got a little bumpy, they're happy to take the win.
They take those, man. 100 Thieves, Meteos as well, just staying steady, never giving up in this game. Other team has Cloud Soul, other team has leads. Just keep it steady and wait to find the right fight.
Well, after this break, Ovely will be talking to the victorious support and giving us a sneak peek at Tyler 1's transformation into Draven here for Cosplay Day at the LCS studio. Don't you miss it.
Welcome back, everyone. I am here with 100 Thieves Stunt. Congratulations on the win against Dignitas, but that looked like a very stressful game for you, so tell me about it from your perspective.
So pretty much in the early game, we fell behind, and so for NA teams, anytime anything happens, you just got to gather around the mid lane first, and so we just A-rammed, and then we were like, I think we don't win A-ram, so in the pause, we're like, there's side lanes. So then we decided to split up into the side lanes, and we were able to split them up enough so that Tahm Kench couldn't really protect everyone. And we just made the game really random, and I think they fell for it, and then we were able to get the win in the end.
And I mean, this is the first time that we've gotten to talk all split, so I want to check in with you personally. How has Spring Split been for you so far on 100 Thieves?
Yeah, so the move up from Academy to LCS has been pretty stressful just because the games mean so much more. I wouldn't say it's more difficult. I feel like Academy is difficult for different reasons, but it's definitely been a huge learning experience, and I'm just really happy to have the teammates I have around me because they're always teaching me so much every day.
Yeah, talking about some of the games being a little bit more important, we are only a few weeks away from the end of the regular split. So each of these games have such a huge weight. So how is 100 Thieves handling the stress of every single one of these games is a must win?
Yeah, so in the past, like when these teams are like really close to the playoff spots, they'll start to freak out a bit, and you see like all those roster swaps coming in, and those kind of roster swaps have happened to me in the past before, so I kind of feel for everyone that's been swapped out. And I just wanted to say that I'm really proud of my team for like just trying to stick together as a group and figure out our problems together, and it's made me really happy.
Well, the 100 Thieves fans are definitely happy to see you and your team performing well. Stunt, thank you. And for everyone else, we asked you at the beginning of the day, who wore it better, Tyler 1 or Draven? And of course, Tyler 1 was definitely rocking the Draven cosplay in style. And as a special treat, we had some behind the scenes look as to how the magic happened. Check it out. Hey everyone, we are currently backstage at the LCS studios for Cosplay Day. And while some of us are already ready in costume, our special guest is currently getting made up. So let's go and take a peek. Oh my gosh. Stella, hi. Tyler, hi. Dude.
How do I look?
Wait.
Good?
Dude, no, that's actually. Did you see yourself in the mirror yet?
Oh, I do look great.
Freaking. But I guess, Stella, for you, what's gonna be the piece that really just puts this costume together? What's the most important part?
Definitely the Fu Manchu.
The Fu Manchu, what's that?
You know, just, hold on, I'm just gonna paint a picture for you guys a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Right here.
Oh my gosh! That's it. That's the Draven piece. I'll let you do that. I'm gonna cover my eyes, run out of the room, and we'll see you when you put the pieces on. Dude! Oh my god! Holy... Is that the final piece?
Yep. Yeah, we're done.
Oh my gosh. Are you comfy in there?
Yeah, I'm quite cozy, about to fall asleep.
Dude, it looks comfy. Can I touch your fluff?
Don't mess anything up.
I know that you've done Draven cosplays before, but how does this one compare?
You know, I was in my room. I had a leather belt as a strap. You know, I gotta say this is out of this world compared to mine.
Oh my god.
Slightly less ratchet.
Yeah.
Slightly less ratchet.
Slightly less scuffed.
I can't even get over it. And I mean, like, you've dressed up so many people, but I feel like this is the first time where your cosplayer has really represented the cosplay.
Yeah, physically, yes. Thank you for all the muscles.
I mean, what can I say?
Yeah, you're doing us a service.
This is so freaking cool. Stella, thank you so much for making his dream and probably all League fans' dreams a reality. And Tyler, I can't wait to see you in action.
I'm gonna be spinning these.
Oh, he's gonna be spinning them.
Yeah, I'm married. Doesn't matter. You do that for me? Really? Yeah, I'd like that.
Who are you talking to?
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning. Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis? Hey, do they ever ask you what you're wearing?
Yeah.
Red sweater, button-down shirt. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Every click,
Every frame. Every press.
every sound.
They're playing aggressive.
I'll take mid. Every advantage.
When the difference
Between winning and losing,
is measured in milliseconds.
everything.
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 Everything counts.
The Alienware Legendary Battle Station.